I'm sure that the vast majority of us got into Yu-Gi-Oh growing up. For me, it was very, very, very early in primary school. So today I wanted to react to somebody's story behind that. Young Yong Tales with 1.06 million subscribers. I'm not personally familiar with this channel, but this came up in my recommended feed, my Yu-Gi-Oh Obsession and School. As somebody who can relate to a story like that, I'm interested in it. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I'm your guy with many YouTube channels. Please go show the creators some love in the pinned comment description down below. Let's get into it.
So back when I was a wee little tofu in elementary, my world revolved around Yu-Gi-Oh! Leave it to a Japanese cartoon about a card game to showcase some of the coolest characters ever while coming up with crap like Power of Friendship.
Dude, you know what's crazy is I didn't even love that when I was a kid, the Power of Friendship. I actually got into Yu-Gi-Oh! Because my uncle just came over with a tin of Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards one day. Thought that I might like it. And then I was looking to play the game because my cousins at the time were familiar with the game. I had cousins that were like 10 years older than me. They taught me how to play the game, and it was the Vorse Raider tin, that old Vorse Raider tin. The Vorse Raider is still one of my favorite cards of this day. It's so nostalgic to me. Then I got into the anime show. Then all of the kids at school started playing.
And belief in the heart of the cards. Obviously, to an average person, that just sounds like complete garbage. But slap that in front of a sheltered me, and it is the most Segoyest freaking thing ever.
Yeah, no, dude, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime is so good at what it does. It gets hyped sometimes. My sister and I just recently revisited watching some of our old childhood shows. We finished watching Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and we're trying to find some old cartoons that we watched growing up to get my daughter into. She did not care about Yu-Gi-Oh! At all. My sister and I kept watching anyways. So on the Clenema Channel, link tree in the description, we have movie and TV show reviews, and we did review Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Now my sister and I are going to watch Spider Riders together. We're cycling through all the old shows, man.
The Dark Magician, the Bude, Exodia, the Egyptian gods, the whole shebang. Of course, though, this was back when the cards were super simple and didn't require a friggin' magnifying glass to read the effects. Now, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was pretty popular at my school. And surprisingly, my school recognized Yu-Gi-Oh! As one of the greatest gifts to humanity.
When I was a very, very young kid, and I was born in 1997, Yu-Gi-Oh! Was popular when I would say somewhere between grade 1 and 4, and I continued playing it with some friends, but I would say, like, there was a time where I was in, like, grade 1, 2, 3, 4, somewhere around there, where people were just, like, wrecking their cards playing outside, so it was cool at one point in my school growing up.
And made it their goal to cultivate this passion that many children had.
For us, it was Yu-Gi-Oh! And Beyblades. We had a huge Beyblade phase as well.
Teachers would encourage us to play, even discuss strategies during lectures. Our school opened a Yu-Gi-Oh! Varsity team.
There's no way. Is he laughing? Hang on.
That's not true.
Okay, I was about to say, there's no way that the teachers are getting into that.
Psych! Yu-Gi-Oh! Was forbidden and super illegal because, huge surprise, I went to private school. What? Oh my gosh, John, a YouTube animator, went to a private school?
Okay, that's actually kind of funny. No, I was telling the truth about what happened in school. We actually had Beyblades banned from school because people were starting to rip them at each other, and then we got a... I don't remember if, like, no eyes were poked out, obviously, but something happened to some kid.
Well, who would have thought? What? What a crazy world we live in. I admit it, yes. On top of the usual restrictions like uniforms, gross vegetarian cafeteria food, yada yada yada, YouTube storytime animator topic cliches, Yu-Gi-Oh! And school also did not mix. My elementary school was pretty strict about this. I mean...
Interesting. My teachers didn't care what we did at recess. We could play at our lunch if we wanted to, as long as we were just doing work when it was appropriate to do work. That's kind of how my school ran.
Who knew that contrary to anime, you weren't allowed to play Yu-Gi-Oh! On school grounds?
Oh.
In fact, you weren't allowed to play any card games. I think it had to do something with it being demonic or some form of gambling.
I don't know, because I went to a Catholic school, and my teachers were completely comfortable with it.
Whether we bet our souls to the Shadow Realm or Cheetos, I don't know. It's the same in their eyes. We would have supervisors watching us at all times, and if they saw us, they would come over and be like, "All right, you nerds, put those away right now or I will take them and throw them in the trash."
Yeah, no, dude, you know what's crazy is I had a teacher that was so good that when we played with our cards, if we wanted to go outside during recess, because we had a couple teachers where it was optional whether you wanted to stay inside or go outside, and every once we would like kind of switch around. Like one day we'd go play soccer, basketball, the next recess we'd sit down and we'd play cards or whatever we wanted to do. our teachers were so good about it that she let us like store our cards in her desk.
They belong. But you know what? Screw you! I call foul, sir. You don't seem to have a problem with people reading during recess like Harry Potter or books about talking cats fighting. That sounds pretty messed up to me.
Hey, I will say Yu-Gi-Oh's good for you. Yu-Gi-Oh was great for my development as a kid, man. You have to strategize, and it's quite complex as well, man. Especially once you get into like older formats, you have to constantly add, subtract, multiply. It's good for kids, honestly.
I like to argue that playing card games is way better. Cultivating strategic cognitive skills, math, reading comprehension, socialization, and most important of all, there are pictures. Prove to me that books can do the same thing. But whatever.
Yeah, like it's just as good for you, if not better. Honestly, I think it's probably better for you than books. I'm not even kidding. Yu-Gi-Oh is one of the best things that you could do when you're a kid.
We are
Put it in the curriculum.
given the choice between playing a card game that we loved and being little responsible school children, we chose crime. Because sometimes the heart of the cards guides you to break rules, i.e., playing in the supervisor's blind spot while having a dedicated kid act as a lookout.
Now, unfortunately, something else I wanted to say was, because he just reminded me of the anime show. My brother and I were super into the anime show. I had another friend that loved the anime show, but when Yu-Gi-Oh was cool when I grew up, it was more so like, look at this cool card I got. Like, nobody knew the magnitude of a Blue Eyes White Dragon back in the day, eh?
And for the most part, that plan worked. It just really sucked when it didn't. For example, one time I excitedly brought my favorite cards to school because they were mostly the ones you've seen in the anime. I was showing them off to my friends during recess, but then apparently my other friend, whom we'll call Bigfoot, freaking snitched on me, and because of him, a supervisor came and took my cards, gave them to my teacher, and I had to wait till after school to get them back.
Crazy. And with how expensive some of those cards were, could you imagine, man? Could you imagine? It sucks. Why are kids like this, man? You know what's crazy is those kids that snitch, they never grow up. They never like actually change, be like, oh, maybe snitching isn't so good. Maybe I'm just ruining other people's fun and like telling people about these harmless things that they're doing. They never grow up from that. Like, I have adults that are like snitches about the stupidest things that are at work.
And not only that, I had to bring my parents for a parent-teacher conference. And when we got home, they held on to my cards for a whole nother week as some kind of cruel and unusual punishment. So that was not a good day. I know there could have been worse situations like never getting them back, or they ended up throwing my cards away.
It's a big deal when you're a kid, man, especially because you don't understand. Like, you just wanted to show your cool artwork to your friends.
Shut up. I don't want to think about that. I still haven't forgiven Bigfoot to this day.
W, I love it. These people don't deserve forgiveness.
Exactly how far did we go to keep this game a secret from our teachers? Well, every Friday after school, a group of friends and I would sneak into the high school side, because apparently that's a private school thing. There are no supervisors.
You know what's funny is I was just thinking that it must be a private school thing because it's not a thing. We have grade school and we have high school.
Cool. And also, we thought that once the high schoolers got out of class, we could blend in because we looked cool and mature and obviously could pass as high schoolers. No. Anyways, we would always play in this room outside where the band would practice. It was like our haven, our spot. And even the high schoolers who played Yu-Gi-Oh would join us, which was pretty cool. In the corner, there was also this little Asian girl, younger than us, who would set up shop with her huge Hello Kitty roller backpack.
So hang on, like in the private school where the teachers were watching your every single move, they just left the band kids alone. Poor guys. Just forgot about all the time.
And sell Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Now, were they stupidly overpriced? Yes. But when you show a bunch of financially irresponsible huge nerds a pack of rare cards, well, that's just easy money right there. I wouldn't be surprised if businesswoman or scam artist was on her occupation list.
Oh, yeah. Honestly.
High school eventually came. We don't talk about what happens in junior high, but high school was a lot more relaxed with the restrictions.
What happened? What happened to your high school experience? That sucks. Is it not like easy in private? I don't know how private school is, to be honest with you. I don't know the difference really. I still miss high school sometimes. I'm one of those people that enjoys life as life goes on, but High school was such a great time.
Most of the teachers didn't care as long as it wasn't during their class, with the exception of the librarian during study hall.
There's always that one, dude. There's always that one teacher that's a problem with it for no reason. Dude, in school, I used to, and this is before it was common, I was like one of the first kids to, hey, I'm going to take notes on my phone. I have Google Drive over here, and the only deal that I made with my teachers was, hey, if you catch me on anything else, I'll never use my phone again. It was so much more efficient for taking notes, because when I was in school, you had to write every single little thing down. All of them but one stupid teacher, one of the one teacher just refuses. Always that one.
I don't know. A parent.
And sorry, it makes sense knowing, like, now that I'm grown up, knowing what types of... There are some great teachers out there, don't get me wrong. But there's a certain type that attracts to becoming a teacher.
Like, we're supposed to do productive stuff like studying, but who does that? But even with fewer restrictions, like, the older I grew, the less inclined I became to play, because there were, how should I say, other things on my mind. Like, I believed high school was a time to hang out with cool people and impress girls. But you accomplished neither of those things, sitting in some secluded corner, pushing up your glasses with 2 fingers, saying stuff like, "Ha, I thummin'," or "Not so fast, you activated my trap card."
The problem is, sorry, I'm covering that. The problem with this is, it's just, there's so many disgusting people related to a Yu-Gi-Oh community, so I could imagine that the group of friends that this person was with was not exactly, like, cleanly or normal, you know? My friends and I that liked playing Yu-Gi-Oh growing up, we were completely normal kids, and we had a social life outside of it. Like I said, sometimes, like, and I played Yu-Gi-Oh in school up until probably around grade 7, and we still had a normal childhood. Like I said, we'd play Yu-Gi-Oh one recess, and we go outside and play basketball the next. All you have to do is be a normal person, and then the peers won't shun you.
Yeah, real way to woo the ladies with that last one. Well, actually, I don't know about you, but the Dark Magician girl is the only girl I need. No!
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. You can't surround yourself with those types of people.
And I guess that's when I started phasing out. Probably for the best, because as the circle of people playing grew, so did the unnecessary drama and toxicity. Some kids would take it way too seriously, someone's cards would get stolen, and my insect deck could just no longer compete with everyone else's more updated and...
Oh, that's kind of relatable, man. That's kind of relatable. I'm sitting over here with my frog monarchs. I can't play them anymore.
P decks. You know, it's not the most fun thing in the world when your opponent's cards are just invincible. So it was time for me to move on. Choose something else that is more acceptable in society.
Yeah, and I kind of phased myself out of the game too. Like, didn't have anything to do with society. No, that my brother and I have always played the game, but I ended up leaving the game because in the Lynx and Pendulum days, because I didn't like the floodgates. I didn't like how powerful everything was. It didn't make for a fun experience.
Something more popular, something that would make me quote unquote cool. So I decided to play Pokemon. And then I graduated, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links came out on the App Store, and it helped carry me through college. And that was my experience with Yu-Gi-Oh! In school. Mostly full of breaking school rules and wasting a stupid amount of money on...
I feel like Pokemon's a little bit more socially acceptable. Am I wrong in saying that? I don't know. But then again, people, like, I don't know. I guess it's after Pokemon Go took over the entire world, people have been a little bit more accepted towards it.
Dare I say, fancy pieces of paper. I can't be all motivational and say, "Oh, I didn't care what other people thought about me." Because I did. Very much so. It was just very unfortunate in high school that Yu-Gi-Oh! Or my nerdiness turned into something that I was self-conscious and somewhat embarrassed about.
There's nothing to be embarrassed about. You just have to be the best person that you could possibly be. And I know it's cliche advice, but if you work on yourself, if you become normal, don't let yourself slip into somebody who doesn't wear deodorant every single day, stay in relatively good shape, you can like Yu-Gi-Oh! And you can be a normal guy.
But, like, no matter what I did, if someone mentioned or displayed the slightest enthusiasm for Yu-Gi-Oh!, I would get that excited feeling that I once had as a kid. And as time went by, I just came to accept the fact that, you know what, I am a nerd. I'm sorry. I like building decks. I like picking up cards with 2 fingers.
And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just the people who get so overly, like, bent out of shape. It's like, oh, so you don't like my hobby, but guess what? I love my hobby. No, just do your own thing and be normal about it.
And I may or may not have bought some new cards to bolster my insect deck last year because I'm an adult with money. But that's not important. What is
I'm so happy that I never got into buying Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm a big fan of playing on a browser. I'm good old Dueling Nexus.
important is that even though I don't play that much anymore and I'm left with boxes full of cards that I spent hundreds of dollars on.
Collections are beautiful to look at, I will say. We have our fair share of binders of beautiful looking cards, pages upon pages.
Questioning whether it was worth it. I can't deny how much Yu-Gi-Oh has influenced me growing up. From making friends, teaching me how to draw monsters and dragons.
Oh, that's cool. I do know a lot of people that got into artwork through Yu-Gi-Oh. Guys, I'm not even kidding when I say it's good for your development. My dad had my brother and I, well, no, he didn't like force us into this or anything, but when we showed interest in this game, as kids, we were going to adult tournaments. My dad always made sure that he'd be available to go drive us these tournaments, whether it was at a mall, whether it was sometimes we did cross the border. I live really close to the United States. Wherever the tournament was taking place, because he knew how good it was for our development. Socially, we were constantly thinking, we were building our cognitive skills with this game. It's so good for you as a kid.
How I play other casual card games, Yu-Gi-Oh will always have that special place in my heart. Might even say that I still have the heart of the cards.
I keep meaning to go back and rewatch that anime one day, man. I gotta get my sister on that. Like I said, we're circling back to all of our favorite childhood shows. We gotta get Yu-Gi-Oh on that. We're gonna watch Spider Riders.
Does that make me a huge nerd? Probably, but I don't care. I don't know if
the thing is, I don't even like. I wouldn't even acknowledge myself as a nerd. I like nerdy things here, and the problem is, my two like biggest passions in life are Fortnite and MMA. I'm talking about like when it comes to hobbies. It's like, so it's two different things that are like such on opposite sides of the spectrum where like I love fighting. I'm like, it's like my favorite thing in this entire world, but I also love to chill and play some Fortnite. It's just like, it's so strange. So I feel like it's just going to sound egotistical. I feel like I'm like this tough MMA guy just being normal. Why? I just described myself as tough. It's so cringe. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Like, everything about me is an MMA fighter. Like, it sounds so stupid. I'm pretty masculine. Like, and then I walk over to like these nerdy hobbies, and it's like, what's the big deal? So what? I like playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Like, I just don't think about it. I don't care what anybody else says. I just have my own thing I'm going on, and I feel like more people need to be like that. I don't know. Let me know what you think down below. People getting weird about their hobbies have always been a little bit strange to me, but then again, there's also people that unnecessarily like take people down from their hobbies, but sometimes it's deserved because sometimes the hobbies and the group of people around those hobbies breed like these disgusting creatures, but there are also a lot of great normal people out there. It's a real tough one, but we did also, if you're interested, react to TGS anime on the Skull Servant archetype, one of my favorite archetypes of all time. You can check that out right here. I'd love to have you over there. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, guys.